Welcome to the deep dive. You've given us quite a detailed roadmap here, looking at General Hospital from, September 17th right through to the 26th.
Yeah, it's a dense period, 10 days.
Yeah.
And it looks like Port Charles is in for, well, a really turbulent time.
It definitely reads that way. This isn't just simmering background stuff. The sources point to massive shifts. Institutional tragedy, you could call it, and some really high-stakes, almost chaotic plot lines colliding.
That's a good way to put it. When you break down everything you've provided, there are really two giant forces at play here. First, there's this truly significant death, a foundational character, really, whose loss is going to ripple through basically every major family.
A huge emotional core for the next few weeks, sounds like.
Absolutely. And then on the other side, you've got this messy collision of high-level espionage, think WSB secrets, and some really complicated legal drama, a lot of it spinning out from Drew Kane's shooting and what comes next.
Okay, so our mission today is to really get under the hood of all that. We need to track these threads, figure out the key takeaways for you. We have to understand why Tracy Quartermaine is apparently going to be crushed. What's the specific source of that?
Right. And Dante Falconeri, too. He's described as really stressing out.
Yeah.
We need to dig into what's pushing him to that point.
And then there's this return, a fan favorite, someone unexpected, described as absolutely stunning. We need to unpack how that happens and what it means for everyone else.
Definitely. Lots to cover.
All right, let's dive right in. We're starting mid-September, Wednesday the 17th. The pressure cooker is already on high. So Wednesday kicks off with the investigation into who shot Drew Kane, and immediately there's panic centered on his assistant, Kai Taylor.
Yeah, the focus shifts hard onto Kai. The sources you gave us highlight one specific, very damaging piece of evidence, physical evidence.
And that is?
The baseball bat. The PCPD found a baseball bat near where Drew was shot. It's obviously an item of interest, and crucially, it has Kai Taylor's fingerprints all over it.
Okay. Now, normally, Prince might not be a slam dunk, right? He works for Drew. He's probably touched half the things in the house.
Exactly. That's the point the sources make, too. Kai has keys. He's the assistant. His prints being on household items. Generally unremarkable, You'd expect that.
But context is everything here. A bat in the hall closet is one thing. A bat found near the body.
Totally different story. Suddenly, it's not just a household object. It's potentially a weapon, or at the very least, evidence placing him at the scene around the time of the incident, maybe even moving things. It immediately elevates Kai from just being the assistant to a serious person of interest.
So, is he involved? Or did he maybe panic and try to clean up, leaving his prints?
That's the question, isn't it? The sources definitely lean into the suspicion this creates around him. But things get complicated fast because this police angle immediately connects to another huge problem brewing for Drew.
Which is?
The legal threat. Detective Harrison Chase, he's found something else. Something incriminating inside Drew's safe. Hard evidence, apparently.
Okay, evidence of what? This sounds serious if Chase has it.
It is. Chase seems convinced it's explosive. He actually goes to Brooklyn Quartermaine and kind of hints, maybe even warns her, that this information could stop Willow Tate from, and this is a direct quote, I think, destroying her life.
Whoa. Destroying her life. That's incredibly loaded language. What's the theory? What does Chase think this evidence proves?
The working theory, based on the sources, is that Drew was involved in a bribe. A pretty substantial one, it sounds like. Paying someone off, likely a lot of cash, to keep the children away from Willow during this whole custody fight.
So the cash in the safe is seen as proof. Proof that Drew was playing dirty to undermine Willow, or maybe Michael's case.
That seems to be how the prosecution, or at least Chase, is framing it. They're suggesting Drew was desperate enough to break the law to try and manipulate the outcome. It paints him in a really bad light.
Okay, but here's where your source material gets interesting, because it doesn't just report this plot point. It actually critiques it, right? Calling it potentially poorly executed or a big stretch.
Yet, the narrative trackers providing this info, they're definitely questioning the logic here. And it's important for you, the listener, to know about this critique.
Why does it feel like a stretch to them? What's the core issue?
It mainly comes down to character. Drew Kane, he has his issues, but he's generally presented as having a pretty strong moral compass, right? The idea of him hiding stacks of cash in his safes specifically to screw over Willow in a custody battle, Willow, who he generally has a respectful, if complicated, relationship with, just feels forced. Out of character.
So the motivation doesn't quite track with established character.
That's the argument. The commentary and the sources basically ask if the writers are just hoping the audience, or maybe characters like Sonny, are, quote, that dumb, not to question where this money came from or why Drew would do this, or maybe they're just sacrificing character consistency for quick, high-stakes drama.
That's always the balancing act in soaps, isn't it? How much logic do you bend for the sake of conflict if you make Drew act like a cartoon villain for this one story?
It risks undermining years of development, yeah. It feels like the writers might be banking on the physical evidence, the catch being enough. Like, look, the money's there, case closed, hoping viewers won't dwell too much on why Drew would do it.
But the experts providing the source material are dwelling on it. They see it as potentially manufactured conflict.
Pretty much. They suggest it feels like it's there solely to escalate the Michael and Willow legal drama rather than flowing naturally for who Drew is.
Interesting. Okay, so while all that's brewing, Willow herself is making a move on the same day, Wednesday the 17th. She goes to Tracy.
Right, a softer approach. She talks to Tracy, urging her to take a chance, for Willow's sake. It implies Willow needs Tracy to do something. Maybe something selfless or out of character for Tracy.
Take a chance on what, exactly? What's the speculation?
There are a couple of possibilities floated. One is straightforward. Willow wants Tracy to use her Quartermain clout to back Michael as Willow in the custody fight. Get Tracy on their side of the legal mess.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the other possibility?
The other idea is more emotional. Maybe Willow senses how vulnerable Drew is after the shooting, and she's urging Tracy to make amends with him, to kind of bridge that gap.
And the source commentary on that idea is pretty blunt, calling it a long shot.
Yeah, and honestly, that sounds about right for Tracy, doesn't it? Given how stubborn she is and her generally antagonistic stance towards, almost everyone lately. Reconciliation, especially when she feels pressured, highly unlikely.
So Willow's plea really highlights her own desperation, maybe, trying to shore up family support, sensing trouble coming.
I think so. She's looking for allies anywhere she can find them, and Tracy, as the sort of de facto matriarch right now, is powerful. Volatile, yes, but powerful. Willow's reaching out, even if it's a long shot.
Okay, let's shift gears now, away from the Quartermain legal battles and into the world of espionage, focusing on Britt Westbourne. Same day, September 17th, she has what's described as a very intense encounter.
Yeah, and she apparently wakes up somewhere totally unfamiliar asking, where the heck am I? She's definitely operating off the grid now, on the run.
Right, she's in full spy mode, running from bad people, as the sources put it. Her safety is obviously the top priority. So where does she wake up?
The sources offer a few ideas, but importantly, they seem pretty confident she's not in immediate danger, at least not yet. The most likely scenario, the one that kind of fits best narratively, Jason Morgan got her a safe place.
Maybe even his own place. That classic Jason move to keep someone close and protected.
That's exactly the speculation. It fits their dynamic. The other options mentioned are plausible too. Maybe Sidwell's place, given their history, or Pascal could have picked her up. Maybe Elias asked him to. But the not in danger quite yet phrasing really points towards Jason.
Their relationship is kind of the anchor in her crazy life right now.
Definitely. And this whole spy thing, this secrecy, it's pulling in other people, specifically Jocelyn Jacks.
Ah, okay. How does Jocelyn get involved?
Vaughn confronts her, basically corners her, and demands to know why she's protecting Britt. Why is she keeping Britt's secret?
And the secret is?
The big one. The Brit is actually a WSB agent. That's huge information for someone like Jocelyn to be holding on to.
Wow. Okay. So why is Jocelyn keeping quiet? She's usually pretty upfront about things. What's her motivation here? The sources mention a kind of duality.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Two main reasons seem to be driving her. First, simple gratitude. Britt literally saved her life. That creates a powerful bond, loyalty. Jocelyn isn't going to betray someone who did that for her.
Makes sense. What's the second reason?
The second one is pure soap opera gold. Jocelyn actively dislikes Carly right now. The source puts it bluntly. Jocelyn hates Carly.
Ouch.
Yeah. So keeping this massive secret, especially one that Jason is clearly involved in managing and that Carly has no clue about, it's a way for Jocelyn to assert independence and maybe even get a little subtle revenge on her mother. It's a power play.
That sets up some delicious dramatic irony, doesn't it? Because Carly, totally unaware of Britt's WSB status or Jocelyn's involvement, she goes to Jason.
And lays down the law, tells him basically, if you find out anything major about one of my kids, you have to tell me.
While Jason is standing right there, knowing arguably the most critical thing about Jocelyn's current situation.
Exactly. He knows Jocelyn is tangled up with a WSB agent and all the danger that implies, and he's actively choosing to keep it from Carly. That's a huge betrayal waiting to happen.
He's choosing Britt and maybe protecting Jocelyn in the short term over his decades-long pact of honesty with Carly.
It's a fundamental shift. Done with good intentions, maybe to protect Jocelyn, but Carly's not going to see it that way when it inevitably comes out. The fallout from that lie is going to be massive.
Makes Carly's demand sound almost naive looking back. Okay, moving forward slightly to Thursday, September 18th, Britt hits a snag, a very real-world problem.
Money. Or rather, lack of it. She's a WSB agent, yes, but she's also on the run, cut off from resources. The sources say she's broke and has to swallow her pride.
Even spies need cash. Being on the run from bad people isn't cheap, I guess.
It's a great touch of realism, isn't it? When you're compromised, assets get frozen, contacts dry up, you need actual cash. And swallowing her pride implies she really hates asking for help. Britt likes to be in control.
So who does she turn to? What are her options?
Two main lifelines mentioned. Option one, Jason. Asking him for money would definitely reinforce his role as her protector, deepen that connection, maybe make her feel more dependent, which she might resist.
And option two?
Option two is her mother, Liesl Obrecht, circling back to family.
And the sources are pretty clear on how Liesl would react, right? Even if they've been arguing.
Oh, yeah. The source says even if Liesl's mad at her for something else recently, Liesl obviously would give her the money. No question.
That mother-daughter bond is strong despite everything.
Absolutely. Liesl's love for Brett trumps pretty much everything else, so Brett has a safety net there. But asking Jason, that signals a different kind of vulnerability, maybe a shift in their dynamic she's not ready for. This whole money issue is designed to test her relationships.
Okay, let's pivot now to Dante Falconeri. We heard earlier he's going to be really stressing out. How does that start to manifest around Thursday the 18th?
Well, first, he's doing police work. He's comparing notes with Chase. The sources strongly suggest this is about the bribe evidence found in Drew's safe.
So Dante's getting pulled deeper into that whole mess.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
He's a good cop. He follows the evidence. But this investigation touches the Corinthos family, touches Michael, touches Drew. It puts Dante right in the middle, professionally and personally. That's got to be stressful.
Definitely adds a layer of complication for him. But before things get too heavy, the sources mention something lighter. The Cody Bell mystery.
Yeah, a little bit of comic relief, it seems.
Yeah.
Cody is described as completely stunned about something. And the speculation involves a dog named Outback.
Outback the dog.
Apparently.
Hmm.
The guess is that Outback, who is the dog Emma Scorpio Drake and Gio Palmieri have been looking for, might have stolen Cody's sandwich or something equally minor but stunning to Cody in the moment.
Okay, a classic GH moment of absurdity before the drama hits.
Seems like it. And Dante apparently shows up to talk to Cody right around this time, possibly to tell him, hey, that dog you're dealing with, that's the lost dog everyone's looking for. It connects those lighter plots back to Dante's world.
Gotcha. But the levity doesn't last long for Dante, does it? Because after this, he apparently asks Cody for help. Serious help.
Yeah, this is where the stress really shows. He goes to Cody, who's a good friend, and asks him point blank to stop him from doing something stupid.
Wow, that's a big red flag. He knows he's close to crossing a line. What stupid thing does he think he's going to do?
Given everything that's happening, the police stuff, his family's involvement, and especially Britt's dangerous spy life suddenly intersecting with his world, the strong speculation is that this stupid move involves Britt.
Confronting her.
Most likely, confronting her directly and demanding she stay away from his son, Rocco. You know, the protective dad instinct kicking into overdrive because of the danger surrounding Britt.
Okay, that makes sense given the WSB context, but why ask Cody to stop him?
Good question. Cody is his friend, someone he trusts. But maybe more importantly, Cody is somewhat outside the main Quartermain Corinthos power structures. He can offer a more detached, maybe more objective perspective than someone like Sonny or Michael. Dante needs an impartial friend to talk him down.
Because confronting Britt right now would be really stupid.
Extremely stupid, yeah. She's under Jason's protection. She's dealing with actual spies and threats Dante probably doesn't even fully understand yet. Picking a fight with her, and by extension Jason, is counterproductive and potentially dangerous. He knows it rationally, hence the plea to Cody. He needs someone to hold him back.
Okay, let's quickly touch on some other threads happening around the same time, Thursday the 18th. Gio goes to Sonny for help.
Right. We think this is probably related to finding Outback the dog. Gio promised Emma he'd find her dog, so maybe he's asking Sonny for help funding a reward or using Sonny's network to track the dog down.
Using mob resources to find a lost dog, only in Port Charles.
Pretty much. It shows Sonny still plays that protector role, even for smaller things.
Then there's Charlotte Cassadine opening up to Lulu Spencer about her feelings.
Yeah, this sounds like an important character moment. Charlotte's likely talking about missing her dad, Valentin. He's often absent, often involved in shady stuff. It highlights her vulnerability.
And this probably connects to Lulu facing tough choices later.
Almost certainly. This conversation sets the stage for Lulu having to decide how much contact Charlotte should have with Valentin, weighing the love against the danger. Especially important given the big event coming up. That grief will make Charlotte feel even more unstable.
And Molly Lansing Davis is being secretive. The sources give two very different reasons.
Yeah, this is interesting. It could be about her personal life, maybe hiding growing feelings for Cody, possibly even connected to some romance novel she wrote about him. That's one path.
Okay, light and romantic. What's the other path?
The other path is much more serious. Since she works in the DA's office, she might be secretive about information related to the Drew bribery investigation. If that's the case, she's in a huge ethical dilemma, professional duty versus loyalty to her family connections.
Could go either way, then. Add some intrigue around her.
Exactly. The source is presented as basically a coin flip.
Finally, just before the Friday cliffhanger, there's a mention of Jason bonding with Tracy. That feels significant somehow.
It really does. It's quiet, but important. Jason has always had that link to the Quartermaines through Monica, even while rejecting the name and the lifestyle. Connecting with Tracy, who's often so prickly, right before this major family event, it subtly positions him back within the family orbit.
Like he's unconsciously preparing to step back into that role.
Maybe. Preparing to be the supportive, if still somewhat detached, Quartermaine son when the family's about to face something devastating.
And that brings us to Friday, September 19th. The day the sources strongly indicate is the narrative earthquake, the death of Monica Quartermaine.
Yeah. All signs point to this being the moment. The description used for Dante on this day is incredibly telling.
Yeah.
He is pleading.
Pleading, that paints a picture.
It really does. The heavy speculation is that Dante is the one who finds Monica, finds her passed away, and in that initial shock and grief, he's just pleading with her to wake up. It's heartbreaking.
Designed to be the devastating cliffhanger going into the weekend.
Absolutely. Maximum emotional impact.
And the news reaches Jason, her adopted son. He's noted as expressing regret on that Friday.
His regret would be deep, wouldn't it? All those years he spent estranged, choosing Sonny and the mob over the Quartermaines, over Monica. He'll be thinking about lost time, the complex relationship they had, maybe things left unsaid.
And the fact that he wasn't really there for her in the way he could have been.
Exactly. And the sources mention he makes a call at the end of the week reporting a death. That seems to confirm it. The tragedy is real, and it's been discovered.
The task of telling Drew, Monica's biological son, that falls to Liz Weber.
That's the speculation, yes. Liz and Drew share a history. She's a connection to the hospital, a friend. It makes sense she'd be the one to deliver that awful news. It keeps the hospital community central to the Quartermaine story, even in grief.
Now, before we talk about the fallout, the source material touches on something sensitive, the production side of this. Leslie Charlson is such an icon. They mention the possibility of using a body double.
Yeah, and this comes up in daytime sometimes, when dealing with the passing of a character played by a beloved longtime actor, or if the actor is unable to film. The source mentioned a similar situation on Days of Our Lives, where sometimes they might use a double, maybe just seen discreetly under covers or a quick shot from behind, to facilitate the discovery scene respectfully without needing the original actor.
So, handling it with care, basically.
Exactly. The expectation is General Hospital would do something similar, focusing on the reactions of the characters finding her, rather than lingering on the image itself. It's about respecting the actor and the character while still telling the story.
Okay, and the emotional impact on Port Charles. The sources say it's going to be immense, not just a one-episode thing.
No, absolutely not. The word spreads during the following week, September 22nd to 26th, and the description is that all of Port Charles is going to be devastated. This is a major, major loss.
Why so significant? I mean, obviously she's a legacy character, but spell it out.
Monica Quartermaine. She's been on GH since the Luke and Laura era. That's foundational. She connects generations of viewers and characters. She was the heart of the hospital for so long, the chief of staff, a brilliant doctor. She was the matriarch of the Quartermaines, the often exasperated but ultimately loving center of all their chaos.
The moral compass, sometimes.
Often, yeah. Or at least the one trying to keep everyone else in line. The sources are really clear. Viewers should brace for a long period of mourning on the show, weeks probably, leading up to a big emotional memorial service. This isn't just writing out a character. It's like removing a pillar of the show's structure.
Wow. Okay. That grief is definitely going to overshadow everything else that week. So, as that shockwave of Monica's death hits Port Charles, that earlier spoiler about Tracy Quartermain being crushed, it suddenly makes perfect, heartbreaking sense.
Absolutely. Tracy is now the remaining senior Quartermain in the house, the temporary matriarch. Being crushed means the tough, abrasive shell she wears is going to crack wide open. Her love for Monica, which was always there under the bickering and rivalry, it's going to be painfully visible.
It'll be destabilizing for her, for the whole family.
Hugely. And Dante's stress, that continues too. He's dealing with the trauma of finding Monica, plus the ongoing worry about Rocco and Britt, and the pressure from the Drew investigation. It's a perfect storm for him.
But amidst all this grief, the sources promise a big twist, that absolutely stunning return we talked about. Britt's brother, Nathan West.
Yeah, this is the counterbalance to the sadness, the dramatic hook. The sources hint we might get a glimpse of the actor Ryan Paevey, maybe as early as Friday the 19th, when Lulu apparently helps an accident victim. So his return might be tied to some kind of emergency.
A classic soap opera return. And the timing, right when the family, especially Liesl and Britt, could use some good news, however shocking.
Exactly. Nathan showing up, alive, and presumably well eventually. It could be a massive catalyst for healing, especially between Britt and Lies.
How so? They were already trying to mend fences, weren't they?
They were, but Liesl loves her children so fiercely. Seeing Nathan again, the son she thought she'd lost forever, that kind of miracle could absolutely prompt her to fully embrace Britt, let go of any lingering issues, and just cherish the children she has. It brings light to the Obrecht family just when Britt needs stability the most.
Because Britt's own situation is still incredibly precarious, right? She's trying to fix things with Liesl, but her career, the WSB.
Total question mark. Will she get her medical license back? Could she return to GH, maybe in research or admin? That's one possibility.
Right.
But then there's the WSB. They're apparently interested in talking to her.
Interested how?
Yeah.
Offering her a job.
That's the implication. Maybe working with Jack Brennan. It suggests Britt might be trading her doctor's coat for a spy's trench coat,
Yeah.
Which means Nathan returns just as she's potentially diving deeper into that dangerous world.
Talk about complicated timing. Okay, what about Lulu? She has those tough choices regarding her kids.
Right, two big ones highlighted for this week. First, related to Dante's stress. She has to decide about Rocco and Britt. Does she trust Britt, especially with Jason watching over her, or does she agree with Dante that Britt's spy life makes her too dangerous to be around Rocco?
Tough call. What's the second choice?
That one involves Charlotte. Building on their earlier conversation and Charlotte's feelings about Valentin, Lulu has to decide whether to allow Charlotte to see her father, weighing Charlotte's emotional need for her dad against the very real risks that come with Valentin's lifestyle.
Protection versus connection. Classic parenting dilemma, amplified by the GH circumstances.
Exactly. Both choices force Lulu to make a judgment call about what's best for her kids in a really volatile environment.
Okay, let's swing back to the legal drama. Sonny is getting involved, trying to help Michael deal with the fallout from the Drew shooting and this alleged bribe.
Sonny's in protective mode. He's looking for the best way forward for Michael. But it's tricky. The DA is apparently hesitant, unsure if the bribe evidence from Drew's safe is even admissible. Maybe issues with how it was found, chain of custody.
So the case might be weaker than Chase thinks.
Potentially. Meanwhile, Drew isn't just rolling over. He's going to deny the whole thing, and he's got Martin Gray, who's a pretty sharp lawyer, representing him. So it's shaping up to be Michael and Sonny versus Drew and Martin.
And this brings us back to that critique about the bribe money itself. The sources really doubt the logic of it being untraceable, right?
They really do. They question the financial viability of the whole plot point. The argument is, for someone like Drew Kane, a wealthy public figure, moving $1 million, or whatever large sum it is, shouldn't just vanish.
There should be a trail.
There should be a trail. Forensic accountants should be able to see where that money came from. The source specifically says $1 million missing out of one of his accounts would be noticeable. If it was just cash withdrawal, where did the cash originate? The prediction is, if they actually trace the money properly.
It won't lead back to Drew.
That's the bet. It suggests the money was maybe planted or came from somewhere else entirely. This is probably Drew and Martin's strongest defense angle. The financial logistics just don't seem to add up.
Okay, but Michael has his own problems. His alibi involving someone named Justinda. It's shaky.
Yeah, Justinda is apparently the person providing Michael with cover for his whereabouts or actions during a critical time. She's his alibi witness. But the source material flags her as unreliable, says her story might not stick under pressure. Meaning, if the police lean on her, or if someone offers her a better deal, she might flip. The source uses the phrase, for sale to the highest bidder.
So Michael's freedom could depend on a witness who might betray him for cash. Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. It makes his defense incredibly fragile. The other side will definitely try to exploit that weakness.
And finally, Jason, his focus gets pulled away from Britt.
It has to, doesn't it? He still wants to win Britt over, pursue that relationship, but Monica's death changes everything in the immediate term. The Quartermain family needs him, or at least his presence is required.
Supporting Tracy, supporting Drew, dealing with the memorial.
Yes, exactly. Family duty, especially in the face of such a significant loss, has to take precedence over romance for now. It puts his pursuit of Britt on hold, adding another layer of complexity to their already complicated situation. Hashtag outro. So when you pull back and look at these 2 weeks, Port Charles is really grappling with a trifecta of crises, isn't it? You've got this deep citywide grief over Monica. You've got the very immediate high-stakes legal war centered around Drew, Michael, and this questionable bribe evidence. And woven through it all, you have this simmering WSB espionage plot dictating Britt's future and stressing out Jason and Dante.
Yeah, it's a pressure cooker. Every personal drama, Tracy's grief, Dante's stress, Lulu's choices is happening against this backdrop of tragedy and intrigue.
It shapes everything.
Okay, so let's leave our listener with this final thought, focusing on that stunning return. Britt is in a really tight spot. She's broke, maybe about to get pulled deeper into the WSB by Jack Brennan. Her spy status is compromised. Then, out of nowhere, her brother Nathan West potentially comes back from the dead, maybe after some dramatic accident.
A huge development.
So the question is, how does Nathan's return change the game for Britt? Does having her brother back, this symbol of family and maybe stability, act as a shield? Does it make her stronger, give her something solid to lean on against the WSB or her enemies?
Or does it do the opposite? In the world of espionage, aren't loved ones often seen as liabilities? Could Nathan's unexpected return actually make Britt more vulnerable? Does it just give people like Brennan or whoever else is after her the perfect leverage point to control her?
Is he a shield or is he a target?
That's the tension, isn't it? Turning that joy into potential danger. That's the drama built into his return right now.
Something to definitely mull over as you watch these storylines play out. Thank you again for providing such detailed material for this deep dive. It's been fascinating to unpack.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.